Welcome, friends, to another unbelievable episode of Repeater.
We're here. Believe it.
Not only are we here, but we're also joined by the wonderful Maris Kreisman, who talks about the song Joey by Concrete Blonde.
And because this is a live show, we have a musical guest. Queens-based band Parrot Dream joins us to cover Joey and play some originals.
To be honest, this episode is a blast, especially if you like sad fucking songs.
Or books. We also talk about books because, well, Maris knows a lot about books.
It's a beautiful discussion about art. Deal with it, people. And thank you for listening. This is Repeater.
Woo! Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
It is so nice to have you.
It's such an honor to be here.
Yes. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
We're going to get started by talking about something that we've been listening to recently.
Okay.
So Pat will start us off.
Okay.
You have time.
I'll think about
I
it.
always know I'm going to start, and I always panic because I listen to a lot of things. Thank you. So I guess I'll start off with something good because I guess that's the theme of the show.
Good.
Good, new and good is the new Warriors album. Warriors just got signed to Side One Dummy, which plug, we interviewed somebody from Side One a couple months ago and it was great.
Yes.
But the new Warriors album is wonderful. I just got it in the mail on vinyl on a neon green and red vinyl. So if you want me to buy your music, put it on colored vinyl and I will do it. That is a threat and a promise. But if you're not familiar with them, there's a song on the new album called Future Me that I think is a really good way to get into them. They describe themselves as melodic punk, and it's great. It's fun, and it's happy, and I like it. And it's good.
It's good. Do you listen to Warriors, Maris?
I do. In fact, my husband got an advance copy as well.
Ooh.
And that's a brag right there. And I'm loving it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. I actually have been trying to listen to it on Apple Music, and for whatever reason, because I recently updated a bunch of settings, I think it won't download it, and I don't know why, and then it also won't stream it, and I also don't know why. And I haven't put the time in.
Got it on vinyl.
I know. That is a true thing I can say as a roommate of Pat's, that if it is on cool vinyl, he will buy it. Mm-hmm. That is a true marketing ploy that works on him.
It's sad.
I know something that's sadder. I never thought I would say this, but what I've been listening to lately is a lot of the Eagles. I have been listening to the Eagles a lot lately, and I can't say I'm happy about it. Sometimes I do a deep dive on a band, and I realize all these great things about them, or gems that I never knew about. Mm-mm. And my opinion just isn't any different as it was when I started. And I did watch their whole 3-hour documentary, The History of the Eagles, available on Netflix in 2 parts, and it doesn't. That I guess kind of made me like the people in the band a little bit more. Like they were humans now.
Not Eagles?
No. But I don't know that I like their music any more than I did when I started this journey.
I'm just happy you're able to watch and listen to as much Eagles as you want, and not the new Warriors album.
It's really taken over in a way that's unhealthy. I do think there's a couple songs that maybe I like more than I did when I started, but
Such as?
I kind of like Take It Easy more than I used to, which I believe was their first big hit. And there's another song called Easy Peace of Mind, or Simple Easy. It's like Simple Easy Peaceful or something, but it was a song that I think I didn't.
Challenging songs.
Yeah, I don't think I knew the title to it even. And when I played it, I thought, oh yeah, I do recognize that song. I never knew it was. I don't think I knew it was an Eagles song. They have an incredible number of hits that sometimes it is hard to remember that they wrote all of those songs and recorded all of those songs. especially just between their first 3 albums, because they put a greatest hits out in like 1975. That was just from their first 3 albums, and that is the #1 selling album of all time. And then they released Hotel California.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I used to think Lion Eyes was about a guy with eyes of a lion. And I was terrified of it.
That is a much scarier song
Yeah.
than what it is.
My only Eagles story is I was at a bar in Philadelphia once, and this older man, mid-60s, I'll say, was
A dad.
was going after some ladies at this bar, bragging that he knew the Eagles. And considering how much I know about any other sport that's not hockey, I took that to mean he knew the band, the Eagles, and not members of the football team. So I started talking to him about Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, swing and a miss.
I made friends that night.
Oh, I also learned in my investigation that the band Eagles of Death Metal is in fact named after the Eagles, which is nuts. But I did what? Duh. Oh yeah, I know. It is a duh. It is a duh. But in my mind too, I'm like, there's an imagery of eagles and like violent, cool metal things that like fit together for me, and I never realized until I thought about who are the Eagles of all these different genres is like how I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I bet Eagles of Death Metal is the Eagles of Death Metal. And that is in fact their name or how they got it. Anyways, enough about the Eagles.
I'm listening to the new Torres album, and I became a fan of hers I just looked this up, 2012, when she released a self-recorded album, no label. And a friend of mine discovered it and wrote a glowing review of it on Pitchfork. We went to see her at the Cake Shop, and she fucking destroyed it.
Nice.
And she has a big deal label, and she's blown up.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I don't think I know her at all. Am I in the dark? What kind of music is
it? But indie rock, but like angry music, which you might or might not already know about me is a thing that I'm into. Angry solo woman music. And she started out, she was 23, I believe, because there's a song lyric about it. And one of the things that attracted me to her and to a variety of songs is that she seemed to have already lived full life and had a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It blows me away sometimes when artists have what I consider like a lifetime of experience and they're young as hell.
Yep.
It's crazy. Well, that's a good jumping off point, though. So what song did you want to talk about today?
I would like to talk about Joey by Concrete Blonde.
Cool. Pat, why do you think Maris chose this song?
I think you chose this song because you were going on a deep dive on the Cranberries Wikipedia page, and Concrete Blonde were listed as a musical influence.
Okay. All right. You don't have to tell us when we're wrong. We will be wrong.
I was proud
shaking
of that
my
answer.
head for the listeners.
This is also definitely going to be wrong. I want it to be a video that they were watching on Beavis and Butthead. And that somehow you were watching Beavis and Butthead and that was how you found Joey. That's what I want.
I have not researched whether this song appeared on Beavis and Butthead. It's not out of the question.
It could happen, I suppose.
I feel like Daria would like this song a lot.
Ooh.
My original guess was Daria, but the timeline was too far off that I adjusted to the original, original cartoon. But let's listen to a clip of the song right now so we can hear it. I know you've heard it all before, Pat, but
What's that?
I love you.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
I love that this reminds me of the Cranberries.
Yeah. I said I love you, and you said that you like the Cranberries.
Yep.
You didn't even say you like them. You just said that it reminds you of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I see that we are on slightly different pages with what this song makes us feel, Pat.
Well, it makes me feel sad
About me?
about Joey.
God damn it. Well, Pat, if you're hurting, so am I.
It makes it very clear this came from an album called Bloodletting. I just realized that the way we have the stage set up is like the setup in the music video.
A little bit, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think so. That song kicks ass.
Yeah, it does.
Why did you choose it?
I chose it because it's been my favorite song throughout many phases of my life. I kind of had heard of it when it came out, but it didn't make that big of an impression on me because I was very busy listening to just like pop radio when I was a child.
Yeah.
And one of my first memories of writing was listening to the Miami Sound Machine on the radio and writing down the lyrics to The Words Get in the Way. And I think I was like 6. And it's about this relationship that's going nowhere, and it's so complicated and so hard. And she knows she has to break up with him. And I was like, yes, I understand. This is how I feel too. And
About what? A toy?
just I think it was a feeling that I wanted to have
Yes.
more than anything else.
Okay.
It was aspirational sadness.
It's in my like experience, that's an adult feeling, you know. And if you like want to be an adult, you want to be sad, kind of.
Absolutely. So then when I was 9, I brought my boombox to school
Cool.
and said to this guy, listen to the song I'm about to play. And I played Debbie Gibson's Foolish Beat, which is a tearjerker. And it turns out I looked up the dates, and Say Anything came out in 1989, and this was in 1988. So I invented the Lloyd Dobler. This is what I think I invented. Thank you.
Yes. Bow down.
But so I loved all of these very sad, melodramatic breakup songs forever. But the night I remember falling in love with Joey in particular is I was at my first college party when I was still in high school. So I was really intimidated because it was very sophisticated. It was this like party at Rutgers circa 1995. Woo. And there was Jungle Juice. I remember that.
Ooh.
A couple people had bongs. I didn't really know where to put myself. And then I walked downstairs, and this is how I remember it anyway. It might be totally wrong, but like I picture this girl, probably I should say woman because she was like probably 18, sitting on the ground just in the midst of this crazy party. And she had her acoustic guitar, and she was playing a version of Joey that just stopped me dead in my tracks. And this woman, 18-year-old, seemed to have lived an entire life. She had like a crazy smoker's voice by 18. And like, she just looked so weary and like tired. And I loved it. I was so into it.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is straight out of a movie. I mean, I love that.
And so I've kind of loved that song since then. I sort of knew at the party that I was never going to meet a person there that would make me feel those emotions, so the song would have to do.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm thinking back to like every college party I went to where somebody had an acoustic guitar, and I feel like they only played Oasis.
Oh, that's much better. See, I'm a little older. I just had Dave Matthews everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what a bummer.
Yeah, we had a lot of just lame, bad stuff. I mean, it feels like a dream scenario to have somebody playing a song like Joey. It's like the antithesis of my experience of a person with an acoustic guitar at a party. It's like very lame.
Yeah.
And this is very cool.
And I was glad it was a chick. Because I'm sure there would have been Dave Matthews otherwise, or Sublime. There might have been Sublime.
Been a lot of bad fish going on.
Yeah.
Down there. That's cool. And so were you writing a lot around this time as well?
I wasn't writing that much, but what I discovered shortly after that time was karaoke.
Ooh.
And when I went away to college, I got a karaoke set that I was able to it had 2 tape decks, in fact.
Nice.
And it was portable. And so I brought it out. It was my birthday. I think it was my 21st birthday. And I brought the karaoke set out onto our porch and started singing Joey to passersby.
What a beautiful song to just be
Belting
putting
into
out
the
there
streets.
to passerby.
In daylight.
Yeah. Okay, so karaoke was this thing you found that you latched onto as a very fun activity.
I did. And
That is
singing
cool.
sad songs at karaoke is particularly fun. Joey is very hard to sing, in fact, because the part of the song that you didn't hear was the verses are very low.
Yeah.
Jeanette Napolitano has this beautiful alto voice, and I can do it, but it's very quiet. And sometimes when you're in a loud room and someone else just did Kesha, the room is not ready for just a slow, sad start. But
Yeah. Were you the karaoke friend?
yeah, I still am.
I've only ever known a karaoke friend in adulthood, with karaoke bars and stuff, but never someone who personally brought karaoke to the party, which is another level.
Yeah, I think so.
We had somebody in my hometown that had their own karaoke machine that they would bring to bars. And on a weeknight, and I think they asked, I don't know, or they just set up, but it was internet connected.
Whoa.
So it had
So you could get anything.
it
Did you
was
sing?
the only time I did karaoke at that bar. We sang Creed's "Can You Take Me Higher," because we thought that would show that doing karaoke at this small quiet bar was a bad idea. And what it did do was convince everybody that they needed more karaoke at this bar.
So you killed it?
Yeah, that bar's not open anymore.
Oh, I meant you did an incredible rendition of Higher by Creed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got
And
it.
now that bar's not open
So
anymore.
good that the bar had to close. Well, you can't beat that. I guess we might as well close up the shop. Yeah. What is it about these sad songs that I guess has made them stay present in your life?
Well, so I did get to a point in my life when the sad songs started applying a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, you'll never guess the name of the man who, brought all of these emotions to the forefront.
Joey.
Okay. So what I learned was that the real life part of it is absolutely no fun. I was crying in Dwayne Reed's. All of my dignity was gone. I had always pictured a montage where I'm eating from a tub of ice cream and feeling really sad and watching chick flicks. But it was just whiskey and sadness and loneliness. And it was only after I really cut him out of my life that I started loving the song again. And I think it's that the aspirational sadness is great when you're pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise it can kind of ruin your life.
Yeah.
That sounds right. I similarly, actually, there was this song, there was this band Girls that was around for a little while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a song called Lauren Marie. And I was
Marie.
dating Lauren Marie.
Oh God.
Actually, I was in love with Lauren Marie and not dating her yet. And eventually convinced her to date me, which tells you how well it went. And that was just a relationship fraught with, it was a very real roller coaster of a relationship. And I think when the actual breakup happened, I felt similarly. That's that song, it felt like it applied so hard to my life. And it was I could have written this. And then the breakup happened. I was like, I don't want to listen to this fucking song anymore.
Yeah.
It's too close. But I recently rediscovered Girls because I think I loaded a bunch of old music onto my computer. And I was like, oh, I love this song. I love this band, and it was just a funny, rediscovery of the exact same thing.
Yeah. And I realized that there was just a time when I had to like put all my sad music to the side, and now I have old Apple playlists that just say indulgence. And I can pull them out now and just enjoy them and not feel like somebody should be checking on me.
Yeah.
And so now I'm happily married, and I have performed Joey for my husband many times in a very happy manner, you know, as much as, you know, this song could be happy.
Right.
But it still delights me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something with like sad music that, you know, obviously when you're in something, you're like, oh my God, this sucks. This is the worst. And I never want to hear this song again. But I wonder if like when you put time, you know, add time to the mix and you can go back and go, yeah, that was really sad, but it was really sad. And now I'm happy. I think that, I don't know. I think that's what I get out of sad music sometimes.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, no, stuff can get dragged down low. And it's not like that right now. So I'm going to happily enjoy this really sad song.
Absolutely. And I recently, in doing research for this show, in fact, I read that Jonette had to record that song last for the Concrete Blonde album because it was too emotional for her.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes,
Can I actually read an excerpt from a interview that I wrote down?
please.
Ooh.
So she was being interviewed for a music magazine about Joey, and it's exactly what you said. It was the last thing recorded, and she's referring to Chris, who was, I believe, their producer or engineer for that album. So she says, and I remember Chris every day. Do we have vocals to Joey yet? Do we have words to Joey yet? And I'm like, not yet. So I literally wrote them in a cab. I knew what I was going to say. It was just a matter of like a cloud forming, and then it rains. The lines are forming in my head, and they're all in my head, and I know the chorus, and I know what I'm going to say. It's just a matter of fine-tuning the details and how I'm going to lug it out. And then it rains. The clouds all formed, and it rained. And then it happened, and that was it. And it was just there.
I'm crying a little bit.
It really struck me. Like I was similarly just trying to like look up information about this song, and that's a very like on the process of whether it's writing or creating art of any kind, or maybe even just processing something. The process of processing, you know,
Yes.
is a lot of buildup or a lot of knowing that, like kind of acknowledging what you're doing and what you're going through, but not actually outputting anything just yet.
Absolutely. And, you know, I heard her do a cover of this song, and she changed one word, and it changed the entire meaning. And it was so upsetting because she's saying, the lyric goes, if you're somewhere out there passed out on the floor. And this time she sang, and if you're somewhere out there passed out on her floor. And I was like, oh, shit, Joey, what did you do?
Yeah,
Oh, that's rough. Oh, man.
that is a big difference in context of that song.
And so I wonder if, like, you know, if she wrote the original lyrics and like had to wait for a few years to let it die down a little bit so she could do an acoustic cover and just
maybe
let
it was
happen.
about a guy in a different band, I think, from like the LA scene that she had been in, that she dated, who was an alcoholic, I think, right? That was part of the story.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
drunk and passed out on the floor is the other part of it.
Right. Yeah, man, like just tough. Because obviously the thing I love even just about like the chorus of this song is she's so done with this guy, but she wants him to be okay. You know, like I don't give, like, I'm fucking done with, like, get out of my life, but don't die, you know, like that kind of thing. And it's, really, it's hard to have, that's a real complicated relationship, and they really nail it in a very like concise way.
If you're hurting, so am I.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. Empathy. Why do we have it?
Yeah.
Why is that a thing we have to deal with?
Do you think if we played this song for Trump, he'd feel something?
No.
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 I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think he get it.
I want to feel hope, but it's not in that.
No.
He is a guy who I assume doesn't listen to music.
Just the way he doesn't read books.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the way he only watches the news, his news.
Mhm.
Um,
Are you ever suspicious of people that don't engage with art?
yes. I can expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. It was a simple question, but there's a lot to dig into.
Well, this is a random offshoot, but today in the New York Times, Dan Brown was profiled. And Dan Brown, author of The Da Vinci Code, all of your dad's favorites,
The Eagles.
the Eagles. He's the Eagles of commercial thrillers.
That should be his new title.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And he said that he does not read fiction, but if he did read fiction, he'd read fiction like the kind he wrote.
What a
And I was like, what a
That's
fucking asshole.
dick move that is.
Oh, I hate that so much.
And I can name literally 1 million authors who are better than he is. So
Yeah. That definitely seems just like don't challenge my way of thinking.
yeah. I think that's the main part, right? Like someone who doesn't want their mind to expand or to be challenged ever or to learn about new things.
It's also very disrespectful to other writers or people that do what he does, because I think he's kind of saying that he's like, well, I figured it out. Like I have my method and my formula of how to write a novel, and that's how to do it. I don't care for like these other attempts at it, you know.
And then a friend sent me a photo of his library.
Oh boy.
And his library is literally filled with books and it looks beautiful. But all of the books are by him and they're translated into a variety of different languages and he has different versions of them, but they're all by him.
My God.
Oh, his poor publisher.
And I believe that Trump probably has the same kind of library, except not Dan Brown. It's all Trump.
Yeah, I think it's just his one book. Has he
He's
only
done a
written one?
bunch of books.
Oh, God damn it.
So
I was hoping.
praise the ghostwriters who got some money, I hope.
Yeah. They probably didn't realize what they were contributing to. At
No,
the time.
probably not at the time.
No. That's a damn
Oh,
shame.
that's so upsetting.
But you read a ton of books.
I sure do. And I do think that I look for some of the same themes that I look for in music in books.
Mhm.
Like my favorite author of all time is Lori Moore. And she has a way of making funny and sad mixed together in a weird, profound way.
Mhm.
And she does a lot of stuff with wordplay, which I never thought was going to be romantic. You know, speaking of dads and like dad jokes and stuff, but she can make a pun feel so important.
That's great.
Yeah, that is a very hard skill, I would think.
Yes.
But that's cool. What's like a recent title of hers or like something you love by her?
My favorite by her is a novel called Anagrams. She's probably best known for a couple of short story collections. One's called Self-Help and one's called Birds of America. And she most recently had another story collection, I think a couple of years ago, called Bark. All highly recommended.
Nice.
So you work at Book of the Month?
I do.
Club, is that in the title there?
Yes.
Cool. Just checking. So what's the goal is to put something in front of people that are just kind of like asking for a book to read, right? And what goes into that?
Yeah, I think that today you can be overwhelmed by choices and that there are so many people who don't live close to an indie bookstore or somewhere where there's going to be a clerk that can absolutely help you find what you're looking for. So Book of the Month kind of narrows it down for you. And we try to have a diverse array of authors and different kinds of genres and different kinds of writing with the hope that our members will read a book a month.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to to go off Dan Brown, just like not sort of stay in the one lane of the one genre or whatever. Because I think especially for books, it's easy to just continuously go, all right, well, I know I like this type of book, or
Absolutely.
and I think something that, I hope starts to expand a little bit. Like there's a Kickstarter right now called Books Without Borders, that's trying to get more people, like, non-American writers, non-white writers,
Yes.
Get those books into people's hands. And I guess I'm wondering, like, when you're seeking out these new books, like, how are you finding them? Who are you looking through? Or
I'm looking through a lot. I like cull a list down every month from like almost 100 titles to get down to 5. I'm looking for something that's a little challenging every now and then. We unveiled our new books today. In fact.
Oh, cool.
So, Manhattan Beach by Jennifer Egan is in there. You know her from A Visit from the Goon Squad, which is about the music industry. This is a much more straightforward novel, but it's so beautifully done that it's absolutely worth a read. And then we have a thriller every month. We're not going to deny
yeah.
But it's not James Patterson.
Yeah.
It'll be like, a step above.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Eagles of something, but I'm not trying to. That would have been too hard.
It sounds so. I like that idea that you're sort of trying to not replace, but supplement that like small bookstore feel of someone giving you a personal recommendation when that's not available to people.
Absolutely. And so we have judges who write endorsements for all of these books. And so they tend to be a little more personal than an average book review, because we ask these book critics and authors and otherwise to really tell us how they felt when they read the book and why.
Yeah.
And speaking of trying out something new, there's an experience that sticks out very distinctly in my head, which was I was in San Francisco, I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe this was something like that, 5 or 6. And at this little-ish bookstore, and they have all the cards, right, with employee recommendations written out.
Those are great.
And I'm not a huge reader, admittedly, and I've definitely never read a lot of short stories, never read a lot of science fiction, ever. And I'm looking at a card, and I'm reading it, and I kind of pull the book off the shelf, and this was Ted Chiang's Story of Your Life and Others. And as I'm like, but that is my reaction now, having read it.
And you saw Arrival?
I haven't actually.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good.
I want to, but that story is the best story in a way that I truly felt like I understood the world better and differently after reading a short story. But I was reading the card of the suggestion, and I think I had the book in my hand, and some employee, who I think wasn't even the person who wrote it, like across the room, said, "Just buy it." And I did. And it was
so great.
Maybe the best book recommendation I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I was so psyched that I knew nothing about it, truly.
That is amazing.
And I loved that book.
Just for the audience, that was the short story was what the movie Arrival was based on. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a really beautiful job of fleshing that story out and making it even more universal and broad and emotional.
Yeah. His way of writing I found to be so it felt like and again, I don't read a lot, so it's hard for me to recognize when something's much better than something else. To me, it's a lot of like, oh, this is good. I don't really know. And it just seemed like he was pulling off this feat of putting something extremely fantastic into an incredibly relatable and incredibly real world scenario. And he just does it time and time again. I think the first story in that book stands out a lot to me as well, which is a retelling of the Tower of Babel.
Right.
And which is so, it hits that so strongly because it's like a story I kind of already know, and it is biblical and all this stuff. And it's still, he makes it relatable in a way that I found was like, that's nuts.
Well, that's why there are studies that say that people who read fiction are more empathetic.
Interesting.
Yes, you can Google that later.
That does feel counterintuitive to me, because I would think if I read a lot of nonfiction and I
Right.
understand things
Right.
concretely better, then I'm gonna maybe like be able to empathize because I've learned it. And there's something about
Yeah.
the way my brain works is something about reading novels where I'm not learning anything, I'm just enjoying myself, right? But obviously
That's how they get you.
the folly, the folly in that logic is easily
Sure.
seen.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing about how like people's creative output connects to people. Like there's so many, like there's a ton of songs that just I have no real world connection to that situation, or like to this song where like I have no understanding of what that kind of interpersonal relationship is and what that kind of pain feels like. And it's great that like you can also get that out of something that's 3.5 minutes long.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, like, it's fun, or not wonder, but it is fun to think about the things that are furthest away from our experiences that we find relatable,
Yes.
because those are the things that I feel like are tying us all, you know, and not to get too college party, but it does, like, that's the stuff that like does feel like, oh, there are connections between all of us, and we are similar beings with similar thoughts, and art has a way of doing it in a way that, hanging out at a bar just doesn't always do.
Yeah. And I feel like a catchy hook is sort of like what fiction is. Like it's just a way of reeling you into someone else's point of view that's really enjoyable, even if it's not your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets you singing along before you realize what the hell you're singing about.
Mhm.
Yes.
And you have no idea, like, if it's relatable to you, but you also don't even analyze necessarily what this person who wrote it is going through or anything like that. But I guess you hope it sinks in, or you hope that some fraction of the people that are singing along look into it, you know, or attempt to figure out what is there.
Yeah. You know, a song that was stuck in my head earlier was Kesha's Gold Trans Am.
Relatable.
Which is, I wish I, like, again, aspirational. I wish I related to those lyrics, but then you look at her life at the time that she released this song, and it was probably really, really shitty. And so I kind of love the idea that she was making this fluffy art and killing at it, even when she was going through maybe one of the toughest times of her life.
Yeah, that is also like a testament to, you know, skill or talent or artistry to be able to do that at a time like that. It's incredible. I think I've probably mentioned this months and months ago, but I found Rihanna's last album to be incredibly, like, it's not relatable, I guess, but to resonate in a way with me that I don't think I ever could have guessed. Also because first of all, because of who she is and like the space she occupies within pop music, I just don't assume that any of that's going to really resonate with me. But then on top of it, like, the actual thing she's singing about, just, that's not my life. I'm not Rihanna.
You're not?
As much as I want to be.
Is there a song in particular, or was it?
I'm trying to think of the actual song title, but it's
You can sing a little bit.
there's a part of it that goes, "Man, fuck your pride. Go and take it on back now. Take it on back now. Take it back all night." And I'm trying to think of what song that. Thank you.
That's great.
Ooh, what you want to do? Make it last on. I feel like I'm getting to the name of the song, but I don't know that I'll actually get to it. But it is this song that is clearly it's like a point of view that I would probably never actually, not never, but I don't think I've been on the side of. But I feel like listening to that viscerally, like, this could be sung to me by maybe many people in my life or something like that. Like the idea of, like, fuck your pride, get over yourself. You need to actually deal with me is a very, like, almost scary, like, whoa, yeah, I need to like do that sometimes probably, you know?
Yeah.
But it would never be Rihanna singing it to me, I don't think. As much as maybe I kind of want it to be, but I don't think it'll
We're
happen.
talking about aspirations. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But also a lot of the Eagles catalog, you know, also would never happen to me.
Yeah.
Some stuff really pisses me off about a band like them, where, but something like Take It Easy, right? Is there was an era of, I feel like, rock and roll where you're allowed to sing about stuff you didn't have experience with because it was all like in the canon of America or rock.
Mhm.
And there's that line of standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. I got such a fine place to be. It's something about a flatbed truck pulling up, but it's just pure fiction. Like the
They've
guys
never been to Arizona.
maybe they've been to Arizona, but it was just this little town. At the time, it was like this little town on Route 66, and I don't think that line was written by Jackson Browne, who's not a member of the Eagles. He was one of the people who wrote that song. But it's one of those things that just like it just all works because I mean the reason it also feels contrived is he wrote that part and then the next couple lines are written by Glenn Frey of the Eagles. But it's that thing of like, oh, you're writing this song? Not my experience, but here I know like a good lyric or a catchy way to finish this paragraph or this what would it be called? Verse. And and it's kind of like bullshitty and contrived, but I guess when you're good at it, you're good at it, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to write what you know if you're a good writer.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if art is lying to you if it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
I just want it to be honest. I want them to treat me right and tell me the truth, you know?
Well, maybe you can
Eagles will never
find
do
that
that.
in Rihanna and not the Eagles.
Honestly, like I am.
Closer. Yeah, good.
That's what I'm learning. Cool. Well, Marissa, thank you so much for talking to us.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks.
everyone
you
give
so
it up,
much.
please. Okie doke. Now, if you want to hear Parrot Dream's cover of Joey, head on over to repeater.show where you can stream it.
You have done it. You either went to repeater.show to stream it or you ignored us and kept listening. Either way, great job. Now, back to Parrot Dream for some original music.
So we're going to play a couple songs of our own. The next song is called Jungle. It's a song that we wrote, I think maybe two years ago, so it's been around for a while. You are lost in the jungle. Hold my heart, hold me where there is danger, once you go behind the trees, you are lost. That song we actually put out a cassette as one side. There's a B-side. Cassettes. Anyone like cassettes? Yes. They're popular now. We usually don't play in this format. We actually have a drummer and a bass player who, in fact, is sitting here in the corner over there. Hey, Matt. I can't see you, but I know you're there. Our last song is it's called Julio, and it's on a full-length album that we're going to put out soon. So keep a lookout. We're Parrot Dream. Thank you.
You can stay up to date with Maris by following her on Twitter at Maris Kreisman. And for the love of God, join Book of the Month Club.
Parrot Dream is based in New York City, but you can find their music at parrotdreamband.com and on Bandcamp, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Oh boy, that was a satisfying episode. I was going to say it makes me want to go out and read, but I guess it really makes me want to stay in and read.
You know, you can read anywhere, Evan. That's the beauty of a book. They're portable. It's like a Walkman, but for reading.
Ah yes, books, the original Walkman. Well, that's it. Rate and review us on iTunes, and until next time, hit repeat.
Evan, put your Jack Kerouac shirt on.
Repeater is hosted by Evan Ford Barden and Patrick Cartelli at QED in Astoria, Queens, a place to show and tell. Find out more at QEDAstoria.com. Our show is supported in part by Hi-Fi Records and Cafe in Astoria. Visit them from wherever you are at hi-fi-records.com. Editing by Stephen Garvey. Theme music by the Sun Lions. Everything else by Love Nest Productions. Welcome to Repeater.